Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of wisdom, strength and resilience, today I want to share with you 10 powerful Stoic habits that can transform your life. These habits, rooted in the teachings of great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca and Epictetus, will help you develop unshakable discipline, peace of mind, and a mindset fit for any challenge. Focus only on what you can control. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that we should only concern ourselves with what is within our control. Most of our stress, frustration and disappointment come from trying to change things that are simply beyond our power: other people's opinions, the actions of others, the economy, the weather, or even past mistakes. The more we focus on these external factors, the more powerless we feel. But when we shift our attention to what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our decisions, we regain our sense of agency and inner peace. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that we should divide everything in life into two categories: what we can control and what we cannot. He explained that our time and energy are best spent on the former. For example, you cannot control whether someone treats you unfairly, but you can control how you respond. You cannot prevent unexpected hardships, but you can control how you prepare for and react to them. By training yourself to focus only on what is within your power, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety and frustration. This mindset is not about ignoring reality or avoiding responsibility. It is about directing your efforts where they will be most effective. If you are unhappy with your job, instead of blaming your boss or complaining about the company, focus on improving your skills, finding new opportunities, or adjusting your perspective. If you face rejection, instead of dwelling on the unfairness of the situation, focus on what you can learn and how you can improve. This simple shift in thinking will transform your approach to life, making you more resilient, disciplined, and at peace with whatever comes your way. Practice negative visualization. Negative visualization is a powerful Stoic exercise that helps build resilience, gratitude, and mental toughness. At first, the idea of imagining worst-case scenarios might seem pessimistic or even depressing, but in reality, it serves the opposite purpose. By deliberately contemplating potential losses, whether of material possessions, health, relationships, or even life itself, you prepare your mind to face challenges with greater composure. More importantly, this practice helps you appreciate what you have, instead of taking it for granted. The Stoics believed that suffering is often amplified by our unrealistic expectations. We assume that our lives will remain stable, that our loved ones will always be there, and that we will always have our health and comforts. But life is unpredictable. Unexpected hardships, losses and changes are inevitable. By mentally preparing for these possibilities in advance, we reduce their emotional impact when they actually occur. Seneca advised his students to occasionally imagine losing everything they value, not to create fear, but to build psychological strength. If you regularly consider the possibility of setbacks, you are less likely to be devastated when they come. This practice also deepens gratitude. When you take a moment to imagine life without something you currently enjoy, your home, your job, or even the ability to walk or see, you suddenly become more aware of how fortunate you are. Instead of feeling entitled to comfort and success, you begin to cherish them while they last. The next time you hold a loved one's hand, savor a meal, or watch a sunset, do so with the awareness that nothing in life is guaranteed. This mindset helps you live with greater presence, appreciation, and emotional resilience, making you stronger in both good times and bad. View obstacles as opportunities. Life is full of obstacles, and no one is exempt from hardship, failure, or unexpected challenges. However, what separates those who succeed from those who struggle is not the absence of obstacles, but the way they choose to view them. The Stoics taught that every difficulty carries with it an opportunity for growth. Instead of seeing obstacles as setbacks, they believed we should embrace them as chances to build resilience, develop new skills, and strengthen our character. As Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When faced with adversity, most people react with frustration, self-pity, or avoidance. They see problems as unfair burdens, rather than as natural parts of life. But the Stoic approach is different. It teaches us to pause and ask, how can I use this situation to become better? If you lose your job, instead of dwelling on the injustice of it, you can use the time to gain new skills, network, or even explore a new career path. If you face rejection, instead of feeling defeated, you can analyze what went wrong, improve, and try again with a stronger strategy. If you encounter physical or emotional pain, you can use it as an opportunity to build mental toughness and patience. This mindset shift is not about denying the reality of difficulties, but about transforming them into something useful. Every challenge presents a lesson, and every hardship is an opportunity to practice virtues like patience, courage, and discipline. By training yourself to see obstacles in this way, you become unshakable. Instead of fearing hardship, you welcome it as fuel for growth. This is the power of the Stoic perspective, turning every challenge into an opportunity to rise stronger than before. Embrace discomfort and voluntary hardship. In a world that constantly seeks comfort, convenience, and ease, the Stoics taught the opposite: embrace discomfort and seek out voluntary hardship. While most people try to avoid difficulty, the Stoics understood that true strength is built through adversity. By deliberately exposing yourself to temporary discomfort, you train your mind and body to handle life's inevitable hardships with greater resilience. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, would periodically sleep on the ground, eat only the simplest food, and wear rough clothing, not because he had to, but because he wanted to remind himself that he could endure tough times if they ever came. Practicing voluntary hardship helps in two key ways. First, it strengthens mental toughness. When you put yourself through controlled discomfort, whether it's fasting, waking up early, taking cold showers, or pushing yourself physically, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you think. Over time, this builds confidence and self-discipline. When real challenges arise, you will be less likely to panic, because you have already trained yourself to endure discomfort. Second, it reduces dependence on external luxuries. Modern life is filled with comforts that previous generations never had, but the more we rely on them, the weaker we become. By occasionally stepping away from these comforts, you remind yourself that happiness does not depend on luxury. You learn that you can still function, and even thrive without excess. This practice frees you from the fear of losing what you have because you know that you can survive and adapt. Embracing discomfort is not about suffering for the sake of suffering. It is about preparing yourself for life's uncertainties. When you make discomfort a regular part of your routine, you become more resilient, more disciplined, and less fearful. Life will always present challenges, but if you have already trained yourself to handle discomfort, you will meet them with calm, strength, and confidence. Journal for self-reflection. One of the most powerful habits of the Stoics was daily self-reflection through journaling. Marcus Aurelius, the most famous Stoic emperor, kept a personal journal, which later became known as *Meditations*. In it, he wrote about his struggles, his thoughts on virtue, and his efforts to live a better life. The purpose of Stoic journaling is not just to record events but to examine one's thoughts, actions, and emotions with honesty. It is a tool for personal growth, helping us learn from our experiences, correct our mistakes, and stay aligned with our principles. A Stoic journal serves as a mirror for the mind. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. Did I live according to my values today? Where did I allow emotions like anger, fear, or envy to control me? How could I have responded better to challenges? Writing down these reflections allows you to recognize patterns in your behavior and identify areas where you need improvement. Seneca advised his students to review their actions each night, asking themselves what they did well, what they could have done better, and what they would change tomorrow. This practice also helps cultivate gratitude and perspective. By writing about the things you are grateful for, you train your mind to focus on the positive, rather than dwelling on complaints or negativity. Additionally, recording your thoughts over time gives you a clearer picture of your progress. You begin to see how your mindset shifts, how you handle difficulties with more composure, and how you grow stronger with each challenge. Journaling does not require long essays or perfect writing. Even a few sentences a day can make a difference. The key is consistency and honesty. When you make journaling a habit, you develop a deeper awareness of yourself, refine your thinking, and stay committed to your path of self-improvement. Like the great Stoics before us, we can use this simple practice to build wisdom, discipline, and inner peace. Master your emotions. One of the greatest challenges in life is learning to control our emotions rather than letting them control us. The Stoics understood that emotions like anger, fear, jealousy, and frustration can cloud our judgment and lead to poor decisions. While emotions are natural, acting impulsively on them often results in regret. Mastering your emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they do not exist. It means developing the ability to acknowledge them without being ruled by them. A Stoic does not aim to be emotionless, but rather to respond to emotions with wisdom, clarity, and self-discipline. The first step to mastering your emotions is self-awareness. Many people react to their feelings without fully understanding them. The Stoics advised us to pause and examine our emotions as they arise. Instead of instantly reacting in anger or frustration, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Is this feeling based on reality, or is it an exaggerated response? Will reacting emotionally help me, or will it make the situation worse? By taking a step back, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing reason to take control rather than impulse. Another key Stoic practice is reframing situations. Often our emotions are driven not by events themselves, but by the way we interpret them. If someone insults you, you can either become angry or see it as a reflection of their character, not yours. If you experience failure, you can either see it as a personal defeat or as a learning opportunity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By shifting your perspective, you take control of how you feel about a situation, rather than letting it dictate your mood. Practicing emotional mastery also requires patience and discipline. It means resisting the urge to lash out in anger, avoiding the trap of self-pity, and not allowing fear to prevent you from taking action. Seneca compared emotions to wild animals. If left unchecked, they can wreak havoc, but with discipline, they can be tamed. One effective method is deep breathing, or taking a short walk when emotions start to rise. These small actions can help you regain control before acting on impulse. Finally, remember that emotions are temporary. What seems overwhelming in the moment often feels insignificant with time. By training yourself to pause, analyze, and respond rather than react, you develop emotional resilience. The more you practice, the stronger your self-control becomes. A person who masters their emotions is not easily shaken by criticism, setbacks, or the unpredictable nature of life. Instead, they move through life with a sense of calm, purpose, and unshakable inner strength. Live by virtue, not by pleasure. In a world that constantly promotes the pursuit of pleasure, through wealth, fame, comfort, and indulgence, the Stoics offered a different path, a life guided by virtue. They believed that true happiness and fulfillment do not come from chasing external pleasures, which are fleeting and often beyond our control, but from living in accordance with reason, integrity, and moral excellence. A Stoic does not ask, "What will bring me the most pleasure?" but rather, what is the right thing to do. By prioritizing virtue over pleasure, we build a life of purpose, strength, and inner peace. The Stoics defined virtue through 4 key principles: wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Wisdom means making decisions based on reason rather than impulse or temporary emotions. Courage means standing firm in the face of fear, hardship, or adversity. Justice means acting with fairness, integrity, and concern for the well-being of others. Self-discipline means resisting distractions, temptations, and harmful desires in order to stay committed to what truly matters. When we live by these principles, we create a foundation for a meaningful life, one that is not dependent on circumstances, wealth, or the approval of others. The problem with pleasure is that it never truly satisfies. People who chase wealth always want more. Those who seek fame often feel empty once they achieve it. Sensual indulgence brings only temporary satisfaction before creating new cravings. Seneca warned that relying on pleasure to find happiness is like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. On the other hand, virtue provides a deeper, lasting fulfillment. When you live with honesty, courage, and discipline, you gain something that no external force can take away: self-respect and inner contentment. Living by virtue does not mean rejecting all pleasure. The Stoics did not believe in unnecessary suffering or denying yourself simple joys. They enjoyed good food, friendships, and success, but they never let these pleasures control them. They practiced moderation, ensuring that their happiness was never dependent on external comforts. If a pleasure aligned with virtue and self-discipline, they embraced it. If it led to weakness, indulgence, or moral compromise, they let it go. At its core, the Stoic approach teaches us that pleasure is temporary, but virtue is permanent. When you live by virtue, you build a character that can withstand any challenge. You are not shaken by failure, nor are you enslaved by desires. Instead, you walk through life with a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment, knowing that your happiness is built on a foundation that can never be broken. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. One of the most profound and transformative Stoic practices is Memento Mori, a Latin phrase meaning, remember you will die. At first, this idea may seem dark or unsettling, but the Stoics did not view it as morbid. Instead, they saw it as a powerful tool for living with greater clarity, purpose, and urgency. By constantly reminding ourselves of our mortality, we strip away trivial concerns, break free from procrastination, and focus on what truly matters. Most people live as if they have endless time. They put off their dreams, delay important conversations, and waste precious hours on distractions and meaningless pursuits. We assume there will always be a later to fix relationships, chase our goals, or become the person we want to be. But the truth is, time is the one resource we can never get back. As Seneca warned, you are living as if destined to live forever. Your own frailty never occurs to you. You don't notice how much time has already passed, but squander it as though you had a full and overflowing supply. Remembering death is not about fear. It is about focus. It is a wake-up call to stop wasting time and start living with intention. Memento Mori teaches us gratitude. When you remember that today could be your last, you begin to appreciate the simplest things: a conversation with a loved one, the warmth of the sun, the ability to breathe and move. Suddenly, small annoyances lose their power over you. The long line at the store, a rude comment from a stranger, or a temporary setback no longer seem worth your energy when you realize how little time you truly have. Instead, you start valuing each moment, treating every day as a gift rather than something to take for granted. This mindset also makes us braver. Fear holds many people back, the fear of failure, rejection, or embarrassment. But when you accept that death is inevitable, these fears lose their grip. If this life is temporary, why waste it worrying about what others think? Why delay action because of self-doubt? The Stoics believed that Memento Mori was the ultimate motivator to live fully and fearlessly. When you stop fearing death, you stop fearing life. Finally, this practice helps us align our actions with our values. If today were your last day, how would you live? Would you spend it arguing over trivial matters? Would you hold on to grudges? Or would you express love, pursue your passions, and leave behind something meaningful? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Death is not something to avoid thinking about. It is a guide that helps us make better choices. Memento Mori is not about dwelling on death, but about using it as a tool to sharpen your focus on life. When you remember that your time is limited, you live with more urgency, appreciation, and courage. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start making the most of the moment you have. So embrace this Stoic wisdom and let the awareness of death inspire you to live each day with purpose, virtue, and gratitude. Practice mindfulness and presence. In a world filled with distractions, constant noise, and endless worries about the past and future, the ability to remain present is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. The Stoics understood that true peace and happiness come from fully experiencing the present moment, rather than being consumed by regret, anxiety, or meaningless distractions. They practiced mindfulness, not in the modern sense of meditation techniques, but in the sense of being fully engaged with life as it unfolds. Many people spend their days either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. They replay past mistakes, regretting things they cannot change, or they stress over uncertainties that may never happen. But the Stoics reminded us that the only time we truly have control over is the present. Marcus Aurelius advised, confine yourself to the present by focusing on what is happening right now, what is in front of you, what you can do in this moment. You free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Mindfulness is about being fully engaged in whatever you are doing. Whether you are eating, working, exercising, or talking with a friend, give it your full attention. When you listen to someone, truly listen, without checking your phone or thinking about what to say next. When you work, focus completely, instead of letting your mind wander. When you walk outside, notice the world around you instead of being lost in thought. These small acts of presence add up to a richer, more meaningful life. Practicing mindfulness also helps with emotional control. When you are fully present, you are less likely to be swept away by anger, stress, or fear. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can pause, observe your emotions, and respond with reason and wisdom. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Much of our suffering comes not from actual events, but from our minds racing ahead, creating fears and worries that do not exist. By training yourself to stay present, you reduce unnecessary mental anguish and handle life's challenges with greater clarity. One simple way to cultivate mindfulness is through conscious breathing. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and take a deep breath. This small action anchors you in the present and helps reset your mind. Another technique is to regularly remind yourself, what is happening right now is all that matters. This keeps you grounded, preventing your mind from being hijacked by regrets or anxieties. The more you practice presence, the more you realize how much of life you were previously missing. The little moments, a smile from a stranger, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of laughter, become more vivid and meaningful. By committing to mindfulness, you not only improve your focus and emotional well-being, but also deepen your appreciation for life itself. The present moment is where life happens. Don't let it slip away unnoticed. Serve a greater purpose. One of the most powerful Stoic principles is the idea that life is not just about personal pleasure or success, but about serving something greater than yourself. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes not from selfish pursuits, but from contributing to the world in a meaningful way, whether through helping others, fulfilling your duties with integrity, or working to leave a lasting positive impact. Living for a higher purpose gives life meaning, strengthens resilience, and provides a sense of direction even in the face of adversity. Many people go through life feeling unfulfilled because they chase personal gain without considering how their actions affect others. They seek wealth, status, or comfort, believing these things will bring happiness, only to find that they still feel empty. The Stoics understood that real happiness comes from living in alignment with virtue and being of service to something beyond the self. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This reminds us that our choices, no matter how small, have a lasting impact. Serving a greater purpose does not mean you must change the entire world. It can be as simple as fulfilling your responsibilities with dedication, being a reliable friend, or showing kindness to those in need. It means using your skills and abilities, not just for personal benefit, but to contribute to the well-being of others. Whether you are a teacher, doctor, artist, or worker in any field, you have the opportunity to make a difference through the way you approach your work and interact with people. This mindset also makes hardships easier to endure. When your purpose is bigger than yourself, you find strength in difficult times. A soldier who fights for his country, a parent who sacrifices for their child, or a leader who works for the good of their community will endure challenges with greater resilience because their suffering is not meaningless, it is in service of something valuable. Viktor Frankl, influenced by Stoic philosophy, observed that those who survived the harshest conditions in concentration camps were often those who had a strong sense of purpose. They had something to live for beyond themselves. Another important aspect of serving a greater purpose is recognizing our role in the interconnected world. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger whole, what they called the cosmopolis, or the universal city. Just as a single bee cannot survive without the hive, humans thrive when they work together. Epictetus taught that we should not isolate ourselves, but instead contribute to society, acting as good citizens and helping others whenever possible. To practice this Stoic principle, ask yourself, what impact do I want to leave on the world? How can I use my strengths to serve others? What responsibilities do I have to my family, community, or society? When you align your life with a purpose greater than yourself, you find deeper fulfillment, lasting motivation, and an unshakable inner strength. Instead of merely existing, you begin to truly live. In the end, the power to change your life is in your hands. The Stoic habits we have discussed, focusing on what you can control, embracing discomfort, mastering your emotions, and serving a greater purpose, are not just ideas, they are tools that can transform the way you think, act, and experience the world. Life is unpredictable, full of challenges and hardships, but by living with discipline, wisdom, and purpose, you can face anything with courage and clarity. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start. Begin now. Apply these principles daily, and watch as you grow stronger, more resilient, and more at peace with yourself and the world around you. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Your time is limited, your potential is vast. Live with intention, and make every moment count.